What's up, I'm Anthony Geary.
I'm Tim Heerdink.
And I'm Richard Fowler.
And today is Conspiracy 101.
Alright, this is our first lesson in the Conspiracy 101 series, a spin-off of Beyond the Dark Paranormal Encounters. And today we'll be telling you about the conspiracy theory of chemtrails. Alright.
So what is the definition of chemtrails?
Well, chemtrails, it's a term coined to suggest that contrails are formed by something other than a natural process of engine exhaust hitting the cold air in the atmosphere.
So have you ever been sitting outside in your yard and you look up in the sky and you see an airplane coming by and it leaves a trail of condensation, but it stays far too long?
I've noticed that as long as I can remember, ever since I was a little child. I remember trails coming behind planes, staying there for a while. Only strange thing is now they seem to stick around significantly longer than they used to. I feel like they used to just, when you watch them, like a normal contrail, it'd be there for maybe 30 minutes tops until it starts slowly fading away and dimming away. The plane's already long gone. But every now and then you'll see like a couple of planes come through, and it'll be like 3 hours later, and you just have these long, almost cirrus-like clouds just formed from within them in the same locations.
Oh yeah, so you did mention the word contrail, which is also known as a condensation trail, and they are streaks of condensed water vapor created in the air by an airplane or rocket at high altitudes. So basically, like when it goes to contrails versus chemtrails, these condensation trails are the result of the normal emissions of water vapor from piston engines and jet engines at high altitudes, in which there is water vapor, and it condenses it until it looks like a visible cloud. But as he has said, it'll be there, and it'll be kind of like a little line, and then it'll just go away. But when it comes to chemtrails, it's lines, lines, more lines, and they just stay there all day. Now, normal cloudy day would just be like, ooh, look, a regular cloud, not like fucking lines all over the place. So, I don't know. That's the difference between contrails and chemtrails.
The only thing that makes it hard to dismiss all contrails as potential chemtrails is because you can't really tell what altitude that trail is at from the ground. Because if it's really high up in the altitude, there's a lot less wind force to be able to separate that condensation. Therefore, it'll naturally form into more of an ice crystalline structure in the cloud and stick around for a lot longer.
So we could be also
So very high
chemical
altitude
snow.
planes, it wouldn't really be chemical snow. At that point, it'd actually just be condensation. It's just because it's so high up in the atmosphere, there's very little wind movement to make it disperse. So it kind of lingers around until it just kind of, eventually gets evaporated from the sun.
So who do you guys think are out doing this? Who do you guys think is flying these planes? So like a handful people of the government, maybe National Homeland Security, maybe that could be something involved in controlling us somehow.
And it happens in a lot more places than just the United States, so you can declare that it's a U.S. only problem.
Yes, I believe that we live in an area kind of just middle of nowhere of Midwest. I mean, we're the third largest city in Indiana, but Evansville Regional Airport doesn't have too many planes flying out of it. You go there and it's a ghost town, so it doesn't make any sense. I know planes fly over our city to go to Louisville, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. But it's a little ridiculous how many chemtrails are in the sky. And it's usually, it's not a constant everyday thing. There might be one or two every once in a while every day. But the other day, I have pictures I'll show you later on in the episode, it was just crazy. Line after line after line crossing over each other. It's like somebody just intentionally did it that day. So that doesn't make any sense.
See, I tried taking a picture the other day. I was about to clock into work, and I was just sitting out in the parking lot. And I was watching this one jet plane way off in the distance going over, and the thing that was bugging me about it is I could see the trail it was leaving directly behind it. But right before that, there was like 5 other trails kind of like inversely breaking off in other angles from the main trail. At least that's what it appeared to be doing. which made no sense because that was the only damn plane that flew through that airspace at that time, but there was 6 trails.
Yeah, that's very strange. So, yeah, it could be the government, I'm not sure, but if it is happening in other areas of the world, I mean, I know when I flew to Germany, I went from Evansville to Chicago, and Chicago, I think we got onto a British Airlines, so there might be an alliance with like the British Airways and stuff, and after that, then you're going over to Europe, and then they're just spreading everything.
No, the first thing I understand about Europe is the majority of it's underneath the European Union.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much, even though it's not just one big country, a lot of their policies are handled as such.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. I remember being on the airplane when I was over there, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's connected. I wasn't really looking for chemtrails when I was over there, but I mean, it could be a worldwide thing. And why are they doing this? I'm not sure. But there are some theories to it.
One of my theories that I had actually really thought about is we are all pretty much aware of Scientologists, right? Scientologists, well, what if there's actually another secret religion-based scientific program that's not Scientology, but something almost similar, and they're all going out in other countries doing the same stuff, and they're the ones, oh, if we do this, we might be able to make this. And, you know, they're flying over, and whatever they're dropping can actually harm us, either our crops or us personally. So maybe it could be a control type technique.
That's possible. Reasons why they would be doing this, you know, people think that they have some kind of like aluminum that they're throwing in along with other chemicals in the chemtrails, and there's geoengineering and like trying to control the climate. But I don't know if they could say that they're trying to reverse global warming. I feel like it seems apparent that every time there's a new president, there's a new disaster that follows right afterwards. Like, I don't know if they feel like they have to look like the good guy to the citizens, so they create some kind of horrible, catastrophe. I'm not sure if they create that, if that just by coincidence actually happens around that
yeah,
time.
I think if you're talking by catastrophe, if you mean natural disasters like weather, I'm pretty sure that's more coincidence. Although the fact that the weather's been getting worse could possibly be explained by theories such as this, but it could also just simply be explained by global warming and climate change theories as well.
Yeah.
So weather on its own is kind of its own dominant force. I don't think we actually currently have the ability to control the weather, at least not to an ability to make another Katrina or something of that sort. We might be able to make it rain. Yeah,
But how
that's
much?
a lot.
But how much can it make it rain?
How far can they go? It seems kind of funny that like the president or somebody of importance is never caught in any of these storms. You never hear of like a celebrity getting stuck in one of these. It's always just like regular people. Nobody of what importance to somebody of the 1%. Like,
Well, people with money are going to get the hell out of there. They got people looking out for them because they pay them to do just that. Bad shit's going to happen, they're going to get the hell out of there.
yeah, that's true.
Your average Joe, he's at work, he doesn't know what's going on outside, he gets off, fucking spitting tornadoes left and right, he had no fucking clue.
Yeah. Oh, it is a mystery. So,
We don't have the technology to pretty much create a different flight pattern for weather, but those little green men do. And maybe this could be wind up already happening now. It could be reverse engineering that they're learning how to do, changing weather patterns.
This could lead possibly into the conspiracy of the HARP program, if you've ever heard of that. I wouldn't tell you what the acronym stands for if I could remember exactly what it stands for. But nevertheless, the theory of chemtrails revolving around the HARP program is that they might be releasing small little sorts of electrically conductive materials into the atmosphere, so they can use some sort of electromagnetic pulsation system in order to release vibrations through the atmosphere in order to change the climate.
yeah. That does sound pretty compelling. And then there's also the idea that maybe they are releasing these chemicals into the air in which we breathe to kind of control us or have us maybe
Could be kind of like a
diseased.
forced medication to a certain extent, some sort of aerial medication to kind of try to keep people in more of a sheepish manner. Try to keep people less mentally, keep their mental capabilities lower, keep them thinking inside the box instead of out.
So what I don't get though, it's
Kind of.
like with Congress and the president and everybody, do they have some kind of like antidote? If that were the case, would they have some kind of antidote? Because they're breathing the same air that we're breathing.
They would want Congress members to be just as sheepish as they want the people to be. Because it wouldn't be the government itself doing all this, it would be the rich people who corrupt the government above it.
Illuminati.
Most likely the rich bankers, like the Rothschilds.
Yeah. But then there's always like the Congress, there's a sheep and they only stay in Congress. They're never voted out. Like they stay as long as they want, it seems. Yeah, these people have been there for years and years and years. And the president gets 8 years for the most part, you know. I don't know what's going to happen this
Usually
time
just
around.
because incumbents usually get reelected.
Yeah. So, it's no telling what they could be doing.
So, what can people do about this chemtrails? I mean, there's nothing that they can do to avoid it or stop it.
Well, I mean, there's only being aware and telling other people, and maybe there could be some kind of petitioning. But I mean, there's no scientific like evidence. We can't go up in the sky and try and have some kind of like pH strips or try and test what's inside
The
there.
scientific community as a whole generally disagrees with the entire chemtrail theory, claiming that they're nothing more than just modern contrails, nothing but condensation. And there's never been release of anything into contrails as far as the scientific community's ever been aware of. So they completely shoot this theory down.
I think I heard Bill O'Reilly talking about it not too long ago. He said, quote unquote, I think all this is nothing but crap. I think everybody that is talking about this needs to look at a psychological evaluation. I just started laughing at TV. I had to turn that channel for a minute because that is somebody who's like, he has a high spot on the media chart now. You know, he's way up there. And he just passes almost all of the stuff that we're going to cover like it's joking.
Yeah, but if you think that's something bad about Bill O'Reilly, I was watching Bill O'Reilly once and he was saying something about drone strikes, and he was saying that he's not going to discredit drone strikes until he can get 100% affirmative proof that it is actually killing innocent civilians. Until that, he sees no disagreement with drone strikes. Now, let alone this was during the Bush era that he said this, not Obama administration, but nevertheless, I mean, it's still drone strikes, and I mean, on top of that, that means he would have changed his opinion from then to now that Obama has the drone strike power. Now he's sort of against them because he just doesn't want to see that power in the Obama administration. But when it was under the Bush administration, he was perfectly fine for it. But before I start getting too deeply into drone strikes, let's cut that off there.
Oh yeah. So yeah, the science community doesn't agree with chemtrails. You can only be aware. People these days don't seem to last as long as they used to. Is that due to chemtrails? We don't really know. It could be the food.
On the contrary, people seem to be living a lot longer than they used to.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, yeah, we do have a lot higher rates of cancer and disease of that nature. But then again, you also have to see we have a much higher population rate. Naturally, there's going to be more disease and just more sickness and more death attributed with a higher population. The more people there are, the more people there are to die.
Yeah.
More caskets to prepare.
Oh yeah.
And when you've seen on the show that we watched on Conspiracy Theory of Justin Ventura, how many caskets did we see in the FEMA camps? And they were black caskets and the black liners, the line stacked up. Now they don't even be needing that stuff as something that's happening or is going to happen.
Well, then it also thinks like there was just a bunch of tornadoes recently. I know that they might not be able to mess up the weather, but it was just a lot at once. I know the hot weather, the cold weather, maybe they can change like how hot or cold it is, like with they're doing with the climate.
Well, perhaps if they were releasing emissions of ozone into the atmosphere, they could control the ozone blanket level. And what the ozone level pretty much does is the more sunlight that gets through and reflects off of like water and other reflective sources off the ground, it will actually, the heat will get trapped underneath the ozone. So it makes almost like a blanket in the atmosphere to keep the heat on, like, just generally in our area. So if they make thicker ozone levels, they could trap more heat, and that can have adverse effects on the weather. But this would be a little bit of a time-consuming process as well.
Yeah, they have a bunch of people working on stuff, and a lot of it they don't tell people about.
However, if they also would release something like Freon into the atmosphere, they could take areas to completely deplete the ozone layer.
Yeah.
So they could completely alter the ozone layers in different sections of the atmosphere by using different chemicals in the air to affect it.
I know that a lot of people in the world, because we have people that watch our shows in India and in Iceland and all that, you guys don't know how it is in Indiana. Indiana is one fucked up place to live at when it comes to weather. It never knows what it wants to be. And we can all agree in this room that this is probably the first year that we actually had a fall before, and then might actually have a real winter again, because sometimes it's been like almost summertime or really early fall throughout the
Feel
whole.
like 60 degrees in November, all of a sudden it's like December 12th, like all of a sudden 12 degrees. What happened?
Yeah.
Like,
5 years ago, we had a tornado in November 6th, I believe.
yeah, I remember that. It destroyed my friend Brett's, destroyed his garage. He had to move out of his house for a little bit because it also tore off the roof of one section. But
Yeah, we might actually have snow again this year, and we used to, Christmas used to be all snowy, and now this November is kind of just like really hot or warm one day, really cold the next day, and back and forth. It just doesn't make any sense. Somebody keeps messing with the thermostat.
I think that's just the bipolar weather level of Indiana, because it's been like that as long as I can remember. Although up north, when I lived up in Indy, it got cold earlier, and it snowed a lot more in the winter. I think that's honestly just
Location based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 2 hours north of here, and it does get pretty snowy in the wintertime there.
Yeah, it is rather weird to be living in this spot in Indiana. So, it's not. Who knows what's going on? Like a couple years ago, we had a really bad blizzard. And I remember one Christmas I could go out there and it was just like sunny, and I had short sleeve shirt on and shorts. So, it's no telling what it is around here anymore.
So guys, if you are out sitting and you see an airplane and it leaves a trail that lasts longer than expected, chances are it's not a contrail. It's chemicals. So I don't advise you to go around to your neighbors and tell everybody, hey guys, it's chemtrails, Keep it secret, because the way society is today, your own personal beliefs can become your nightmares.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much, if your beliefs don't go along with the rest of society's, you're an outcast, and the rest of society's nothing but a sheepish mob.
Well, anybody who strays away from the path of what they want you to think and believe, they want you to look crazy. So they use propaganda, and they have these movies, and they say this is what you're supposed to be, and then when they show somebody who isn't that way, that they're deemed mentally ill. So, it's one way or the other. And there's gray area on, some people, I do believe in chemtrails, but it's probably nothing. It's probably just the emissions from the plane. I think it just lasts too long. A normal cloudy day is not what it used to be.
Well, Tim, Rich, I think that the class on chemtrails is dismissed. So there you have it, guys. It's chemtrails. I'm Anthony Geary.
I'm Tim Heerdink,
And I'm Richard Fowler.
and this is
Conspiracy
Conspiracy
101.
101.
Here we go.
sunny day with occasional clouds has turned into this. What does the future hold for us? Why is there so many chemtrails in the sky? Is this the new norm? Will it ever end? Why is this happening? How will the world be in coming years? We can only hope for change. Look at that shit in the sky. There's chemtrails. Oh my god. One chemtrail, two chemtrail, three chemtrail, all over the place. Tripods falling down. Chemtrails.